Greetings. I'm checking in from the wilderness outside of Breckenridge, and today I want to share some meditations and reflections about becoming who you are. Now, I've had this great experience lately, for months now, of this feeling of returning home inside of myself, of like being in alignment with my essence, it feels like. And I want to talk about that later in the video. I want to start with talking about Friedrich Nietzsche, our favorite philosopher. Nietzsche wrote a book called Ecce Homo, which was an autobiography. And in that book, he had a chapter titled How to Become What One Is. And within that, he talked a lot about physiology. This guy that was known for his thoughts and his radical moral perspectives and, his reevaluation of values, his biography was largely about eating meat and fruit and taking long hikes in the Swiss Alps and putting himself in the correct environment so that his unconscious instinct could pour through more clearly, so that his nature could manifest its gifts in its fullness. I think we can learn something from this. And also, I believe this Ecce Homo, this biography, was an embodiment of his philosophy as well. You see, Nietzsche believed that the unconscious part of the human being was the active part, and that the conscious part, this I that we know and is conscious thinking, was the reactive part, meaning that we have an instinct, we have a feeling towards maybe gaining more power, we have an instinct, we have a feeling towards, love or, something, and then we rationalize that, and we rationalize with reasoning and moralizing. In fact, all reasoning and moralizing is just a reaction to an instinct. We draw these conclusions and then we try to reason our way there, right? And in order to become what one is, Nietzsche believed, and this is kind of like psychoanalytical in a sense, is that it's important to increase your physical vitality as much as possible. Long hikes, like me, I've been doing a paleo keto diet, changing from, I was vegetarian for 7 years. And my vitality, like the feelings in my body have changed drastically, like 50% more energy suddenly from doing paleo keto, eating meat and fruit, right? And by increasing your vitality with heavy lifting and good sleep and like removing the addictions and the things that are draining from your life, all of a sudden the true note of what I would say is your essence shines through. Nietzsche didn't really believe in an essence. He believed in like unconscious impulses, but those impulses can become more clear. And I think that so much of our society does two things to block many people from becoming and manifesting who they are. The first one is the massive sedation. Like, a lot of people are sick, they eat unhealthy meals, they don't work out, they don't sleep right, they're addicted to all these things, right? So we need to increase vitality and then decrease distractions. Nietzsche believed in fresh air and long hikes in the mountains and actually in boredom. And he wrote in The Gay Science that all higher types, there's two requirements for them, in a sense, is that they need boredom, they need leisure, and then they need work that is pleasurable for them, and they will work hard because the work is an end in and of itself. They need both of these things, and right now we are constantly distracting ourselves. I know people with a lot of vitality in their body where they could get close to the instincts of their soul and their unconscious nature could shine through, but the problem is they're scrolling on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're constantly distracted by women and jobs and obligations that they tie themselves into and drugs and this like chasing all these things. And so we gotta decrease distractions and increase vitality. And that's the thing, is a lot of people are like, oh, this is how you find your life purpose, blah, blah, blah. You gotta follow this path in your mind. And it's all bullshit. Literally increase your vitality, decrease distractions, and the true tune of your soul, the song of your heart, will play more fully. And this is like what I've realized in the past year really strongly. Coming into 2024, I had this intention of returning fully to my instincts, right? Following my instincts. I was realizing that my mind was just leading me into all these loops, into traps, into things that weren't fully fulfilling, things that were close but a little bit off, right? So the intention was to return fully to my instincts, and my instincts, like changing my diet, changing how I work, changing where I live, following what is my heart saying. And in order to do that, I realized that the path of following one's instincts is very heroic. It requires lots of courage. Courage in terms of letting go and overcoming, right? Letting go of things that are not aligned with your nature, with people, with locations, with substances, with lifestyles that aren't in alignment with your soul. And you know this inside. Julius Evola, one of my favorite parts about his philosophy is that deep down you have a superior self, a central note, a first principle. And then you have all these secondary drives and secondary and subterranean realities, basically. And if you are feeding into something that is not in alignment with self, you will feel remorse. You will feel shame. You will feel depleted, right? And I was looking at my life and I was like, damn, there's a lot of things that make me feel remorse, that make me feel, depleted. And over the past many years, I've had to let go of those. And that's really hard to do. It takes a lot of courage to let go of something you love or let go of someone you love, right? So it's very courageous to let go. And it's also very courageous to overcome, to go in the direction your heart calls you is going to be the most courageous thing you do, to follow your instincts, because it's going to be crazy to your mind. I dropped out of an Ivy League school. You know how crazy that was to the rational part of my nature and the rational part of everyone else? Insane, right? But I did it because I was following some instinct towards something else, and I didn't quite know what that was, but it brought me into greater alignment with who I am. And so increasing vitality, decreasing distractions, and then following your instincts with courage is how you manifest your nature. And I really subscribe and follow the more traditional or perennial philosophy. And in the perennial philosophy, the main tenet of traditionalism is to discover that which you are and bring forth that which you are. As Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas, if you bring forth what is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you will destroy you. I believe we all have an essence inside of us, a deep nature, a superior self. And the goal of all this spiritual and personal development is to realize that self and then will him forth or allow him forth. To let go of the things that block his fullest and purest manifestation, and then overcome the things, in terms of willing him forth, creating, thinking, acting in accordance with your inner nature. It requires great willpower too. And I've been following this path for a while, right? And it's coming up on my 27th birthday. I know I'm a young guy. I got a lot of older people who watch my channel, and it's I'm just trying to share my journey with everyone. I'm coming up on my 27th birthday, and I have this great experience of returning home inside of myself. I was literally crying tears of joy today because it feels like I took a journey away from who I was. We all do this. We lose our innocence, and then as young men, we start searching what's our path to glory, what's our path to making a mark in the world, what's our path to sustaining ourselves, what do we want to do with our lives, what's the purpose of our lives. And we go all of these directions. We take on these masks from people we look up to, from our environment, from friends and family, right? We lose ourselves. And it's a great and heroic journey to finding yourself. I look at that hero's journey, and it's you start here in the normal world, and then you go into the other world, the magical world. And I spent a lot of time down there, journeying, traveling, being homeless, being a drug addict, doing all these different things, going so deep into spirituality and philosophy, and taking this journey by myself. Is a lot of intensity there. And coming back home is wow, I know who I am outside of the reflections in the world. I know my nature. I know who I am and what I want to do here, right? Coming back home, the feeling is indescribable. It's a feeling of like emotion, of wholeness, of soulfulness that's very steady. It's very like peaceful, and it remains with you. The only way I could describe it is like I took a trip away from home for many years, for so long that you forgot what home smelt like and felt like and looked like, and you actually didn't even realize you were gone anymore. It's like Odysseus on his Odyssey. And then you come home and you're like, whoa, wow, you just stepped onto the porch and the familiar smell, your music is back, your family's back, that feeling of life returns, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know it was gone. I didn't even know I was gone. And I think each person's journey back home is very unique in how it's going to happen for you and what it's going to feel like. But it's a journey that we're going to repeat in our lives over and over, and each new evolution of who we become. But I think the key elements remain the same, and that is having the courage to let go, to shed your skin, to burn things that are no longer serving in your life, and the courage to will forth that deepest instinct. And in order to find that deepest instinct, we must increase our vitality, decrease the bullshit, right? So getting into the gym, increasing our sleep, letting go of addictions, getting our diet right, like feeling vital. In vitalism, all of a sudden we can be more relaxed about life. We can have a bit more regulation in our life, a bit more alignment. And from alignment and a little bit of boredom, even a bit of leisure, you'll see the right direction. You just need to decrease the noise and increase the signal of your soul. And boom, that's going to lead you back home. And that journey, it's a heroic one. So don't forget to live dangerously, my friends. Thanks for watching. I'm Christian. If you want to talk to me one-on-one and join my men's community, do more work like this with other guys, there's a link below in the description. Also, I'd love to hear your comments on your journey away from home, back home, becoming who you are. Do you believe in an essence? Or do you believe in Nietzsche's conception that we're just like this amalgamation of unconscious impulses? I kind of believe in both, but I lean a bit more towards Evola and traditionalism. Just my take. Peace.